And I told both caseworkers, I said, if this is how the kids are gonna be treated, if they can't get together, if it's gonna be this hard, then you guys better get this family back together because this is not serving them whatsoever.
Hey guys, probably haven't seen my face for a while.
Since Father's Day.
Yeah, like a month ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so today was a stressful day.
Yeah, stressful is a word for it.
Yeah, so I have been on the phone I was on the phone for like a couple of hours, it felt like, honestly. And I have filled John in a little bit, but wanted to do it on camera because very rare do you guys get to see like our true reactions and like how we are. I think sometimes we like to, stay composed and all of that, but sometimes like the foster care system is stressful, frustrating, not productive.
No.
So that's what we want to talk about.
If you guys are new to the channel, this is the first video you're watching. We are a foster family.
Hi. Did I smack your hand?
Yeah, as you were waving. We have 2 kids of our own, and we have a foster daughter who is a teenager.
Yeah, she's 15. She's been with us now a year. We refer to her as Miss A, and she does not appear on camera. We blur her face or crop her out in order to protect her confidentiality.
Yep.
And we, share our journey, but we don't share her and her family's story specifically. We talk about our experiences with the foster care system.
Yeah. This video is very much out of the ordinary for us because we usually don't talk about any kind of incidents or specifics or things like that. We usually speak in generalities, but we will. We're still going to speak in generalities, but there's gray area. So last week, Miss A, something that, has come up in the videos is she does have siblings, and the siblings are not in the same home. And we're not going to talk about why that's the case, but that's just kind of where things are. And we try to find opportunities for the siblings to hang out. It's been really difficult with COVID because, all the families are self-quarantining, but we still want the kids to get together outside of their parent visits. So we try to do what we can, and she's been able to see some of her other siblings a little bit. Last week, Miss A specifically requested if her brother could hang out. And we could do an overnight, and because we live a little bit farther away from some of the families, overnights just kind of make sense. They've happened before in the past. He has stayed with us once or twice. It's been good experiences.
Hasn't been a problem.
No.
And like this is where things are kind of complicated with the system, and so I'm gonna make like a little diagram. Because in our county, it's going to be different state to state and county to county. But in our county that we're licensed foster parents, so when a kid enters foster care, when they're removed from the home, the county agency is going to be the guardian. And they then they don't have foster families in their county. They actually have a bunch of different private agencies that they reach out to, and they say, do you have a family that would be a good fit for this child? And then that agency's family, like that child, then starts to live with them, but they're still the county's guardian. That's why it gets a little bit messy.
Anytime something has to happen with a child, there's not like one person you can just call and say, hey, can we do this? Like, it's not that easy. Like, there's a chain of command to where, like, when we wanted Miss A's brother to come, it's like, okay, we call our person, they call their person, they call their person, and then it like trickles back down to us, and it's just like, it takes a long time, and it's not always easy. Yeah,
it's not always easy. So first, when Miss A came to us and asked like, hey, can he stay over for a while? I reached out to the caregiver. I reached out to that caregiver and talked with them. They were totally on board. We set it up. It was going to be for a few days. It was going to be, picking him up one night, staying for
3 nights, I think.
3 nights.
Yeah.
And then bringing him back on that last day. Everything was really great. So the next morning, we made sure to tell Miss A, like, hey, like, it's okay with her. We're gonna go ahead and start the process, make sure that it gets approved, because you never want to set the expectation that something's gonna happen because you don't know, like, if you try to jump through a hoop, are you gonna like fall on your face?
Right.
What I did the very next day is I texted our private agency caseworker and just kind of gave her a heads up, like, hey, just so you know, this is what we're trying to do. And do you have any concerns? Like, this is how we're gonna set up the beds to make sure we're in compliance, all this stuff.
Yeah, it's like boys, girls, all that. Like,
yeah.
There's rules, you know, even if they're siblings.
Yeah.
Of like where kids can and can't sleep. So you gotta be careful of that.
So,
that's a whole separate
thing. But then from that kind of awareness text, it started a process, and this is what I'm gonna explain to you on how everything went bad and why Ms. A's brother is now not staying with us for these next few days. When I reached out to our caseworker, our private county caseworker, the other caregiver has the same agency. And so within that agency, they talked and they put in the request without the caregiver officially calling their caseworker. And so it was just me saying like, hey, just so you know, this caregiver is going to reach out to their caseworker, you know, any concerns, whatever. Well, that started a chain of events that then led to him getting approved without the caregiver even like making the official request. But in order for that to happen, 2 private agency caseworkers had to talk about it, be okay with it. They had to submit it to the county and say, hey, here's this kid, is this gonna work? And everything was approved, everything was fine. And then I called the caregiver today to say, hey, like here's where we were gonna like pick him up. And I could just tell something was wrong, and I got all this attitude because something was wrong, that I had to talk with the caseworker, and like I got all this attitude. They said that, you know, I've been doing this for a long time and this is how it's supposed to work. And I was like, okay,
why didn't you voice that before? Like, what's changed? What has changed from 5 days ago until now?
Yeah, like you were fine with it, now all of a sudden you're not fine with it. Basically, because it was called respite, she started having an issue. And really what it came down to is, one, she felt like the process was done without her fully, you know, requesting it, but also because of respite care, if a child is gonna stay with another family, the reimbursement, the per diem, then falls with the family that the child is staying. And so this caregiver was telling me that it's okay if they hang out all day, but that he would have to come home at night. And I started to get the suspicion, like, is this about the money? Because like, we don't care about that. Like, that's honestly on the back end, like it's not our concern. And so I asked her, I said, is this because she mentioned the finances having to move around. And I said, so is this an issue about like the per diem falling with us? And she's like, oh, no, that's not the issue. And I said, then tell me what the issue is. Yeah. So she had said, you know, well, how long have you been doing this? And so she tried to call me out as if we were new foster parents, and so we don't know what we're doing. We don't know how things work. Yeah. And let me tell you, it is actually better to be a newer foster parent because you're closer to the rules. You just came out of training. Like, you don't have that caregiver exhaustion and that fatigue that sometimes can happen. So I was dumbfounded by this conversation. Finally, I got to the point, she just kept saying that I needed to talk to the caseworker. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call the caseworker. So I get on the phone with the county caseworker, who just kind of, you know, when it fits her, she acts like she doesn't know what's going on, you know? So like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
Playing dumb.
Yeah, it does not work in her benefit though for most situations. Then I get on the phone with the caseworker, the county caseworker, and I'm like, okay, what is going on? Because I just talked to the caseworker the day before and I said, you know, hey, you were the one who told me this was approved. Like, I spoke with you. You said this was approved. Like, what is going on? Like, I felt like I was in Bizarro world. Everybody wants the kids to be together. Everybody wants the siblings to have fun together. Why is this so difficult? And again, she just kept bringing up this like technicality of like, well, if it's respite, then the caregiver has to request the respite. And I said, okay, but she was still okay with it. So what went wrong? And ultimately, to be honest, never got to the bottom of that. literally never got to the bottom of like what the issue truly was, but it came down to who had made the request, which again, I checked my records and I did not initiate the request. I was informing our caseworker. So our agency is going to have to talk to the county and figure out like where they go from there. They actually already have a meeting set up to talk about this, because I feel like honestly no good deed goes unpunished, because every time we try to do something good, whether it's getting the siblings together, getting the family together, getting a phone, like no good deed goes unpunished, and somehow it stirs up dust. And it was just like, I literally felt like I was in Bizarro world. Like, what is going on? And I straight up said, like, can we all just take a second and realize that, like, ultimately this is about the kids, and like, do we not want the kids to be together?
Right.
And they like wouldn't respond to that specifically. So so after, you know, I talked with, again, I started talking with the caregiver, then I talked with our caseworker, then I got on a call together. That escalated. Did not go very well. It was like, it's one of those things where like I wish I could just like record it to like have you listen to it, because I don't think people would believe me that like that the conversation could have gone that wrong. From there, I had to get off of the phone because it was Miss A's visitation, so had to take care of that. Got back on the phone with the caseworker. I apologized for, you know, seeming upset. I just expressed my frustration, you know, tried to be the bigger person because I'm learning every day. Like said, you know, I'm just upset that this seems like such an easy thing.
So she texted me and just said like, he can't come over. And I'm just like, what's going on? And like, I'm trying to get answers, and I know she's busy getting phone calls and everything. And now after hearing everything, I call things as I see them. Okay, like I'm calling BS here. Like the fact that that other caregiver said he can be gone all day long as he sleeps overnight there, and he doesn't sleep here.
Yeah.
The money is the only reason. There's literally no other reason for that, because he stayed here before for one night.
Oh,
but
and the
when it's 3 nights, you know. And
the caseworker claimed to not know about that original overnight, and I'm like, how could that possibly have been? So again, she's kind of acting like she doesn't know anything. Well, then I find out, because I have to tell Miss A that like, hey, your brother's not coming. Here's why. And obviously, like, she's upset about it. You know, it's hard because she's old enough to understand like the fact that this is a grown-up issue. This has nothing to do with the kids.
Nope.
This is a grown-up and a system issue that's impacting them.
Yeah.
And I straight up told the caseworker and our private county caseworker, because then I talked to her on the phone. I was just on the phone trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And I told both caseworkers, I said, if this is how the kids are gonna be treated, if they can't get together, if it's gonna be this hard, then you guys better get this family back together, because this is not serving them whatsoever. Like, this is not fair for these kids to not be able to hang out. Like, there's no reason, absolutely no reason. But also something interesting, which I don't think we've talked about, which comes up, is that this particular caregiver, I guess, has a grudge against me. And so again, this
goes back, what, like 6 months?
This goes back to Christmas. So at Christmas, you know, we all got together, and I was helping the brother bring his presents out to her car, and I saw something that was alarming. And as a foster parent, you are a mandated reporter. If you see something, you have to report it. And in this case, I actually didn't report it to Child Protective Services, which I should have done. I ended up, because we share this caregiver share the same agency as us, I reached out to our caseworker and I said, hey, like, this is what I observed. I don't have the specifics, but if you can get it to her caseworker, they can address it. Well, I guess the caregiver found out that I had mentioned something, which basically was, you know, a child was not in a proper car seat, actually in like no car seat. And it was very clear that they were very, very young. They should have been in a car seat. And so because of that, this caregiver has openly said that she has a grudge against me, and she's now letting that impact how the kids interact. And she said that she has a grudge against me and that she's not messing with me anymore.
meaning that she won't allow the siblings to see each other.
So,
I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't know if I'll be able to bite my tongue. I'll just get the money out of my pocket and say, do I need to pay you for him to come over and see his sister? Should I just give you the money? You know,
yeah.
Whatever it is per day, like, here's the cash,
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything to us. If that's what you need, then
Yep.
to make it happen, let's do it.
Yeah, so because of that, Miss A actually like talked with her parents about it, and there is another situation where I had seen something else with like a different person, and again, because I was, I saw something, I had to report it, and that caused me to be the bad guy. And so it's like, I'm in a position right now where I'm struggling, and I'm like, why am I the bad guy? Because I'm reporting suspected abuse or neglect, and I'm trying to get these kids together. It's like every time we try to do something right, like it stirs up something.
Yeah.
And so it's just frustrating, and like I've done some soul searching over the last couple of hours, and like I need to be okay with people not liking me or us. That's just kind of how it is. Like, it's not about us. Like, this is just a perfect example. Like, it is not about us. I can't take this personally. I need to be the bad guy if that means that we're fighting for the kids that are in our home. So it's just,
we're not trying to make friends.
Yeah, I guess we're not making friends.
We're
like
not.
As long as Miss A knows like our intentions, like honestly that's all that matters, and so we're just gonna love her even harder.
It's really sad because people go into foster care for different motives. I mean,
And
I don't know
of
what her
course-
motives are.
Yeah, we're speculating, but like this has been our experience.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like as a foster parent, like you just see things and like it makes you question, and like it's really easy like to get discouraged, and like I know why good families stop fostering, because like it was exhausting to be on the phone for hours trying to like argue a simple case of getting these kids together when there's no reason that they shouldn't be together. Like should not be that hard. And like what's interesting is that because it's so hard, now the county is going to request a separate sibling visit, which we had tried before, it didn't work out. Now that's going to happen. So now all of the caregivers are going to have to take time out of their day to go every single week to a sibling visit. And honestly, like we're fine with that, because like we're doing this for her. Like she needs to be with her family. These other caregivers have been very vocal about it being annoying, too much time, unnecessary. So once again, we try to get them together. It stirs up crap, and so we're the bad guys.
Always
the bad guys.
If you guys hear the dog crying, it's because he's trying to get into Miss A's room because
Miss A has food.
Yeah, she's eating her dinner.
Just wanted to share like an authentic experience, authentic frustration. We don't do this very often because it's hard to talk about it without talking about like the details.
We can only say so much.
Yeah, so we want to maintain like, probably should have started off like this, but like obviously this is our experience, and it's kind of like innocent until proven guilty. Like this is just us expressing like what we're experiencing, how we're feeling, what we're observing. And so like, this other caregiver, like we could be totally wrong about her. Like we could have it all wrong. This is just like the information that we have right now. And I've reached out again to try to talk to this person and try to resolve it. Because honestly, like the grudge is one way. Like I don't have a problem with the actions that I took. I don't have an issue with her. And if I did, I wouldn't let it interfere with getting the kids together. So just know that like, this is a fight worth fighting. Way too often the system is about the adults and not the kids. And so the more that you can focus on the kids and what's best for them, like that's how small changes are going to continue to build.
Yeah. And if you guys have had similar experiences, we would love to know how you handled it, kind of how you navigated things, and what happened, because we love any advice with stuff like this. Definitely. Leave it in the comments below.
We're newbies, clearly.
Yeah,
we haven't been doing it for so long. Oh, and not to mention the fact that I then was told that she had been breaking some pretty serious rules. So now I get to bring that up and be the bad guy again.
Oh my gosh.
But right is right, and you have to do right.
Yeah.
Like that's just, it's what you have to do, regardless of the consequences.
Yeah, we're done being, you know, buddies. We're done being pals and friends with caregivers. It's just the kids, like, just do anything and everything for the kids, and if that means that somebody gets in trouble and somebody, you know, has to face some consequences, then that's on them.
Yeah, we've made mistakes. We own up to it. Like,
I'll be the narc. It's all right. I'll be the narc.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
All right, we're about to get some stitches.
Yeah, stitches.
All right, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.